That's right, it's time for us to see some Anxiospirate versus Pochh, some UAP on UAP violence. I am not excited for that. I do not know where Dr. Sheep is. I'm assuming he will be here soon, but I want to get this going so that we actually start on time. He is supposed to come co-host with me, and we will see what transpires with that. If he doesn't come, that's fine. I'll just do this myself. But either way, we are going to look at a UAP on UAP rematch where in the first time that these guys met, I see that they played and Anxiospirate did win. Their bans from the first time around that they played were Daphne and Olivier, and this time around they've already changed up the whole sequence of this game. So let's take a look at the standings so far though. So far you see that we have George moving on with beating Zeramis. So that was a big one. You saw Dave Cordero continue his dominance over Ugluk, and Ugluk is out. The Mad Lad is out before he could hit the top 16. Our third place finisher, it was boosted by Dave Cordero. Rodion continues his hot streak over the last couple of weeks by defeating Aviator of the Ancient Barrier Republic, and turning around his fortune because Aviator had beaten him. Vince T continued his dominance over Sodafly, and Vince T moves on as both Manchester Mavericks have played their way into the top 16, so congratulations to those guys. And an Unarmed Goat continued his dominance over Grant Titus in a crazy game of weird Heart of the Forest shenanigans and other things, but unfortunately Grant has been pushed out, so at least he will not have to see Jason again this go round. But so Team Kip lost 2 of their 3 people in this top play-in type round and stuff like that, and we're about to lose one person as well, but we did have one person move on, so we'll have 3 in the top 16 no matter what the outcome of this game, so that makes me proud. But let's get to it and let's look at some of these guys' decks and what they are bringing to the table. The first triad that we have here, let me make sure that Dr. Sheep hasn't shown up by chance. He has not yet, so we are going to take a peek at these 3 decks. These 3 decks are the ones that Pochh is playing, and we will go over the decks that we see here as we do that. Let me kill this music, and we'll basically have the Meaningless Xavier of the Bayou, X Peters, Penply's Meaningless Adept, and Olivier the Immaculate Castles Commando. With that said, we will be seeing a ban of Meaningless Xavier of the Bayou, I believe it was. Let me check. Yeah, Xavier is being banned, so we won't talk too much about Xavier, but let's take a look at X Peters and Olivier. X Peters is a deck that basically just plays tremendous long game value. It is a deck that has a good amount of raw amber, 15 raw amber, and it plays a lot of degenerate combos with the tributes in the Six Semper. You have the Edis for taxing. You have the interdimensional graft for pulling back some amber if you need to. You have a key cheat in the Obsidian Forge. And basically EA on the fringes for like good control, double Harbinger with Gleeful Mayhems. This deck just has it all. It has like all the tools to be good. So it just really matters about like how the matchups play against each other with this one. X Peters is definitely a top-notch deck. It has like all of the things that you would need to basically expect a very balanced and strong game. So the draw sequence in this is what matters. The Dysania could be a very big thing in some matchups. That card is only going to get better in the long run. You do have like a good amount of speed, but all in all, like this deck just doesn't have really any weaknesses, but and it has a couple things that it can push out and stuff. So X Peters is definitely one of the better decks in the world. And then we look at Olivier Emo Castle's Commando. This is one of the highest high roll decks in the game, in my opinion. Like when it comes out flying and untamed, it does very degenerate things, and it's hard to basically beat it. But the good news is that with that said, that there is there's a good chance to beat it if it doesn't high roll the way it needs to, because it doesn't have any real amber control, and it can definitely be punished if it doesn't generate enough amber. Now with 19 raw amber, that seldom happens, but the big thing here is like the timing of the Chota and the Nature's Calls and how many keys he can make in one turn. With the boost from the hunting witches and the dust pixies, is he's going to look to archive cards and put things away and like try to set up for that big glass cannon. This deck can go off pretty fast. You can make a key on turn 2 pretty easily if things line up right and be in a position to really just push the pace of the game. So it'll be interesting to see which Olivier shows up today and what comes to the table with that. Let's see, still no sheep online, so I'm going to assume I'm going this one by myself. So with that said, let's take a peek now at Morales, Daphne Vega, and Who the Feckless. And the band today for this threesome is going to be Who the Feckless, which makes sense because this deck is just a pure like tempo deck. It takes a lot of amber away and it gains a lot of amber, but it has a really low raw amber count. So he's opting to let the higher raw amber counts go through, and just seeing the kind of value that what he can get out of the thing. Now Daphne Vega is one of the nicest and like just high rolly kind of control decks that I know. Triple EA on the fringes means that the dis on dis matchups are really strong in the favor of Daphne Vega. You have the lateral shift, which is a very disruptive card, and when played correctly is going to win. You see the double stealth modes; they're going to come into play for this deck to win. Like you kind of you put all those things in a row. Plus, you just have an immense amount of speed in fluidity with the wild wormholes, Tattoo Vapors, and just well-timed play. So this deck is like one of those kind of decks that's just gonna fly, and you either like keep up or you don't. And like the tempo of this deck is really good. It counterpunches well too in the capture game. Its biggest regrets are that it has a low amount of board control. So that's going to give you a little bit of a headache if your opponent gets wide and you can't answer it with a couple things you have. But lateral shift is such a variable and a big wild card that usually Daphne does okay. This is a really strong deck. It's one of my favorite decks to play. It's on our team, so we're going to see that in action. And then we have Morales in Pre-Longo Might. We're going to see this awesome deck in play. The pips are outstanding. There is just a ton of like balanced speed and tempo here. You have the double exhumes. You have tons of resources to basically just keep this tempo game high and live. You have the Sneck Lifter. I don't know how big of a deal that's going to be in this run, but you do have the capability for that. You have the triple Ronnie wrist clocks. You have the double standardized testing, the interdimensional graft. You have all kinds of things that are basically going to get moving. You have the 3 fates, unlocked gateways, dust imps. So you have a lot of burst potential. You have Tesmal for some interference, Call the Weak, double exhume, very big. Just does a lot of really good things. High raw amber count at 16 as well. So both of his decks have 15 and 16 raw amber. Going to be interesting to see them push through and do what they do. And it's going to be a live one. This matchup looks like it's going to be pretty interesting. We do know that that we are looking at the first 2 decks of the game to be. Who's playing what? Oh, here you are, Dr. Sheep. Call. There you are. Let's see if we can bring in the sheep. There he is. He's here. We go early here on the on the show to get some stuff out. So we just went through the deck evaluations, but we'll go back through again and give you a chance to put your 2 cents in on each. I gave a quick analysis and rundown as I didn't want to get like these decks have been seen. These are very meaningful decks. I know that basically these are Pochh decks right here. They're going to be meaningless Xavier of the Bio. Do you need a screen share or do you have them? Okay, cool. Sure, sure. So we know that meaningless Xavier of the Bayou is being banned. So we're looking at an X Peters and Olivier versus a Morales and Daphne, because who got banned? So tell us what you think of this matchup and how it's going to go based on what you know of these decks. So we know where your heart is already, see? Okay. I think the lateral shift is like the big cog in this deck because for the weaknesses that may occur, like in Daphne, the lateral shift is like the thing that's gonna kind of pull it back up, right? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to keep it. And the raw amber on both of Pirates decks are pretty insane. So like I don't know. This is going to be an interesting matchup for me. Like I think it's going to come down to the draw and the sequence. I think of these two decks and see what happens with them. But Olivier is like if it high rolls, like you probably don't beat it, right? Like it's stupid fast. But if it low rolls, like if it doesn't play, like if it doesn't come out with like Blazing Untamed, like usually you can get there against it. But Peters will be an interesting matchup as well because it's pretty complete. Like it's a complete package to me. I think with you have your scaling, you have your board wipes, you have your you have a key cheat, you have a degenerate combo in the Six Emperor tribute. Like Peters is pretty well rounded. It's like one of the better decks as far as like balance goes. I think. Hmm. Yeah, Daphne will go. Yeah, which is yeah that's it. Hmm. Yeah, but the interesting thing here too is the logos houses in these both of those that matchup too because you have Desania in both and the archiving tools are pretty high in both. So like that I think that's a crucial like who's gonna get what value from Desania kind of thing because you're not gonna maybe archive the normal things you would archive because of the fact that you're worried about the Desania and how much bait do you have to put out there, right? Like I don't know, it'll be interesting. Hmm. Yep, and then exhume it. Yeah. All right. So is it not coming through? All right, hold on. Let me disconnect you or disconnect like hang up and come back.
I have come back.
Do you guys hear him now? Hopefully. It is not Olympia. Yay, okay, you're back. I don't know, that's weird. Maybe it's because I brought you in during the middle of the stream. I don't know. It's weird. But usually I do all those checks at the start. So, but anyway, they hear you now, sheep. So all that stuff you said that was nice and juicy, like they're gonna have to figure
Well,
out what it
I
is.
hope your one-sided conversation was very meaningful there.
Yeah, it happens. Yes, I do read it. I'm there. I can read you, Dave. I see it. Anyway, so Sheep was saying, in a nutshell, like if you couldn't derive from the exchanges we had, that the Exhume is going to be big with the Dysanias. There's a potential for that trap, but we don't expect to see them fall for it. Whoever basically gets the most value, whoever plays EA first is probably going to lose, because the other EA will
Who
end up.
has to play EE first, right?
Yeah,
When
well,
you,
has to, right?
yeah,
And we were speaking about Olivier's high roll potential. It's unbeatable if it comes out flying. It's very tough to beat anyway because it can make so much amber. So that would be an interesting matchup because um, if it's Morales first against Olivier, that's rough because Morales doesn't have as much amber control, and it does have the one scaling amber with the interdimensional graph, so that's kind of scary for it. But that slows him down just a little bit, at least makes him think about it. But Daphne has the tools to eat Olivier alive if it gets moving. So that's kind of tricky. But I guess with Olivier though, like there's no disc, so like he's basically EAing himself for the value. So that's kind of not as good. So maybe there's hope in that
so
for
yeah,
Olivier.
so we're gonna see Olivier versus Daphne here first round,
Yeah.
and the, I mean, like when you say lack of C in Daphne, it's not just lack of C. There's one card that kills things out of hand,
Yeah, but
right?
you but
I mean, color subordination is
but you do
is
have lateral
effective.
shift. It's a variable. Like the lateral shift could
Yeah,
be good. But yeah, I don't know. It's different. Like Daphne, like sometimes I've played Daphne a lot, and like when Daphne comes out and she's lined up right, like she's near unstoppable. She feels really good. But sometimes she just comes out wanky and like the game gets weird. But and it can lose to anything, right? So like I think this is really just like I think it's going to be who draws better, like and who has better sequences and value turns. And who has the right timing for it, right? Like because of the exhumes and the replay value here, but it should be a,
right. And
it should be a
like
interesting match.
Olivier says it has a lot of speed with 15,
No.
but two of those are Battlefleet, and
Hmm.
Battlefleet is like maybe one of those, the highest lowest kind of rolling card,
Hmm.
because you can just get stuck with Battlefleets and nothing to play with them, and then you're just burning them for no efficiency or almost no efficiency. Or the other thing that happens is, right, they're Battlefleets and you go off and you draw 6 cards twice
Yeah. All
with
right.
double Battlefleet.
All right. So I think I think I think we're ready to just get into this. Let these guys duke it out. I think it's gonna be a doozy. Like it's kind of bittersweet for me, honestly, because like we had such a group H was like 4 of our guys basically at the time. So like it basically ended up being one of those things where I can't find their game. I just try to link into it and it's not here. Is it in the list?
I am watching it, so
Hopefully they didn't start. I
they have not.
okay, only show new games, but okay, it's not it. Why did I not see this? Let me refresh. Mm-hmm. Who sees it? Like, am I missing this thing? Anxious Pirate, where are you at? Pochh. Are they in competitive?
I don't know. I just tried copying you the game link.
Okay, let me try that again. That's what I did the first time, but it didn't take me to it. Let's see if I'll just put in KFPL and see if it sends me there, because I don't actually see the game. Oh, there we go. All right, they got sneaky on me. I think they're in private, like as a private game, and you have to link into it because it wasn't in the list I saw. But either way, we are ready to go. Let's go. Start
All
her up.
right.
So who's the winner? Who's gonna win this game, Sheep?
Um, you know what? I'm gonna say it all comes down to a really good color of subordination.
I'm typing and it's not showing up in the chat. What is up?
It says you disconnected.
All right. So let's
Yeah.
refresh.
So Daphne's got that color of subordination, and hitting an Ember Imp. Right, there was Ember Imps over here. No, I'm on the wrong deck. Too many decks. So hitting a Hunting Witch with your collar and just gaining Amber.
All right, cool.
Setting up for that Amber gain.
All right, I think we're here. Ready to start this puppy. All right. So you're thinking Daphne is gonna be the
I think it all depends on how well the color hits. I think that's it could just be such a big swing in this game.
I think it's all about the lateral shift, honestly. Even if he hits the lateral shift and just is able to like take the Chota out of the game, that's huge. Like that slows him down a lot.
Or cash in a key off of it, but
yeah, that'd even be better, right?
Olivier doesn't do a lot of stealing.
All right, so
doesn't do any stealing, right? It does some key cost increase.
Yeah, more or less. So there's the Desania early because it's not really necessary in this game. He does get the 2 Amber Pips off the play of the 2 artifacts. And Pochh just had a Murmook, and now he's back to Library Bobble with some damage on the Desania with the Positron Bolt and a Nero Siphon. So there's some value there on the Nero Siphon. That was pretty good.
Very fast play. Click, 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 click.
Yeah, they're moving. They're moving. So we see the Information Officer Gray. I think that card is huge in this deck because it allows you to build up your archive, and if you're not threatened by a Desania, it's really good. Now we're seeing some of the Crystal Hive action. That's dangerous.
Just building a big board against Daphne that doesn't want to play against boards.
Right. And this deck has 2 Crystal Hives in Olivier, so like if they both hit the table, then Mars just becomes insane.
Yeah, especially with the Squawkers, right? Because then, once you have your 2 Crystal Hives down, then anybody can drop and reap for 3.
And do damage. Like if it's like a grabber jammer and stuff like that, it's just annoying. It's like that disruptive tempo. It's pretty sweet. And there's the first of the stealth modes. It's not a bad call. We're gonna take out the Mind Whipper.
A little surprised he put the damage on the Gray, but I guess. I mean,
it happens.
I don't know if it really matters that much. There's not. There's Orbital Bombardment.
Mm-hmm. Pochh taking a little bit of time to try to figure out the math and plot out his sequence here, as he is looking for that window, right? Like Olivier has a window, a win window, and if you get inside of it,
almost. See, yeah, I think that was a little bit of a mistake putting the damage on the Gray over the Red Baron there.
Yeah.
Not a big one, but a little bit.
We'll see if he remembers to forge his red key first, if he gets to that point. Interesting, fun stat. So far, we are at, from last year's top 16, we have only 6 people that are going to be in the top 16 that were in the top 16 last year. If Anxiospirate wins this game, he'll be the 7th. But after that, there's nobody else that will be from last season. That's how crazy the league was this round.
Well, that's a pretty good Dr. Millie like that. That can make a big swing here.
Yeah, you got to think that he's just loading up his disc in that archive. I would say.
Yeah, right.
He's just like, go ahead, make Amber. I want you to.
Yeah. Then we can see a fight with the Desania. Probably into the Murmook, expecting another on tame turn. So this is now 6.
Oh, there's a nice little grab with the Marauder.
There's a big Amber swing there, but that's now 6 cards. No battle fleet. 7 cards, no battle fleet. 1,
yeah,
2,
like having the 2 battle fleets in the deck.
3,
at this
4,
point
5,
are
6.
weak.
Yeah, so the battle fleets are just getting weaker by the play. But I
that
mean, he's
Crystal
up
Hive,
8-0 now.
that Crystal Hive's nasty. I think he's gonna go with the mindset of just trying to advance himself here and not worry so much about the first key. Seems like a
Daphne has no artifact control to deal with them.
no.
Neither does Olivier through a lateral shift.
Oh, and Eddie, that's huge. And especially because he can have it protected by the gramophone, so that makes him have to waste resources, like at least speed, like he has to attack it or whatever to get rid of it. So that's
There's also so many archives right now that
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the tax is crazy, and then when he does kill the Eddie, he can actually still get value back because he's gonna play his EAs and he can still like zoom his Eddie for extra value. So he's in a good place of taxing Olivier, which is actually wonderful because Olivier can't deal with tax other than to Crystal Hive and draw.
I
Oh,
was gonna say you Crystal Hive and you just reap for 6 next turn.
yeah, but then there's the key lock. Doing a good job of just setting tempo here.
Yeah, that's a really good turn.
Nice.
Interesting with the key lock with the warded Eddie. There's a fair chance he's gonna end up being forced to forge under that key lock.
Yeah, that's a lot of amber.
Well, Pochh says, I don't care how much you want me to pay, I'm gonna pay it.
I think that's a mistake with Olivier, though. Like, it's got resources, but it's not the kind that are going to. Oh, there you go. He's going to be able to get some value off of that with the Nature's Call. That's not bad. If he can bounce that Eddie and not have to pay a huge amount, that'd be even better. Comes the second Nature's Call. Yep. So he's going to get this a little bit cheaper. But that's still.
And Daphne is now stealth moded for this turn,
Yeah.
which,
Grossness.
I mean, if he's going to go for the big EE play here, I guess stealth mode doesn't really matter, but this board is getting unreasonable. Yeah, you can't let that Witch the Eye live with Nature's Call Mimicry, and the discard.
Yeah, he's lined up pretty well right here.
Yeah.
To go into like a loop.
It's also at 23 amber.
Daphne.
Yeah, there we go.
Collar is good, folks, but the bad news is that he doesn't have Untamed, so that collar is just kind of, biding time.
Yeah, but I mean, there's only 2 cards out of hand in Daphne. 3, except he has no actions, so that's his only card out of hand that can deal with the Witch of the Eye.
Yeah, but he's doing what he can do here to spike his amber, which is a smart play, and hopefully, like he gets into a position where, like, once that key lock is paid for now, like he's gonna make him pay the key lock, he'll be in a position to at least keep making keys, and that's interesting to see where that ends. But the problem is the Chota, right? Like, there's still a Chota. So, like, if he can get himself to where he has enough amber and Anxious can't respond, like, he's just gonna basically throw he can throw a Chota basically on the backside of that other key. So, like, this is basically like the main turn right here. If he can't tax him out of all his amber for the most part, he's gonna be in a bad place, and he still has to deal with that hunting witch as well. It's a tough spot for Daphne. I don't think she's gonna live.
No, this does not look good for Daphne. It's just too much amber being generated. Yeah, EEs steal some, but just not enough to deal with that kind of amber generation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's almost nothing even that he could hit with lateral shift that would be meaningful at this point.
Well, you get rid of that Chota, right? Like, you can't leave the Chota there if it's there, because if you do, then he just wins with it. Oh, he's using the bouncing death quirk. That's funny. I don't think it's gonna ultimately help, but it's something. Kill the Zizek, yeah.
Can, which will have 0 effect. Red Baron, nothing useful. Yeah, so if he doesn't have Chota in hand. Like that deck consists of so many battle fleets. There's Chota. Wild wormhole for Chota for game.
Yep, that's a big one.
Wow.
That's a crazy push right there as far as that goes, and that's Olivier, right? Like when it does that, there's not really a lot you can do. Like when it goes nuts like that, you're in trouble. Definitely scary. So with that said, let me gonna set up this property. We'll put Pochh up 1 zip. We'll transition over as we look for the new game.
That was
That's brutal.
brutal. Yes, that is what I was thinking too.
Brutal. That was Mortal Kombat. That was get over here.
Uh,
That was.
so they said they both changed bands,
They did.
which was Olivier and Morales. I wonder if Anxious is going, well, maybe my change of band wasn't right. Like, you need to beat Olivier, you need to have good scaling amber cards.
Yeah, well, I think maybe he thought that Who would not have been banned because it wasn't banned last time, and Who destroys Olivier. So, like, I
Is it
think,
really? I mean, 4
yeah,
routine jobs is a lot, but that doesn't deal with 23 amber.
it does pretty good job. It has other things too, but it does a pretty good job of doing that. Plus, it also has its own like power to go. So, like, it can throw down armor too. I
Yeah.
think
Like,
who is like deceivingly good. Like, it's like one of those 88 sasses that plays much higher than what you think. But I don't know. Like, it's what it is. It's a decision. They made the decision. As we
okay, so we're staying on Daphne. So what do we got coming up? Daphne versus Peters?
should be, yeah, Daphne versus Peters. I think that's a better matchup for Daphne, honestly. So we'll see. But shocking. All right, they're in. Waiting for you. Who's playing first? That's the question.
Anxious said he wants to go first.
Okay. Okay, yeah, he sees it.
Interesting, neither deck has an Infernus,
Yep.
which with the Eddie and Desania recursion, with the archiving, like a Infernus would be quite meaningful here.
We'll see what happens. Can we get going? Hit start. All right, so we have Pochh going first, so we'll leave this game and start anew as we play the game of.
Of all the things to fix on TCO,
Yeah, they got a tide
yeah,
counter down and all these great tide shenanigans and stuff, but we can't do that, even though it's
but we
something
can't
that.
change first player.
Yeah, whatever. I vowed until I will patronize them again once they fix that.
Oh no, I don't want to play.
Sheep trying to get in on the action. He's like, let me show you how
Yep,
it's done.
I'm ready to play.
We're still hopeful for the goat versus sheep matchup, so we'll see what happens. I don't
I'm
want to
looking
play.
forward to it. I only got to win 1 or 2 games to make that happen, right?
Yeah, I guess. I have to wait for Anxious to get into this because, like, he does it in private, maybe. Yeah.
Well, at least I heard I was not around much yesterday. Work has been pretty crazy for me, but I heard TCL was quite the unstable monster yesterday
Hmm.
with
It
the
was
introduction of
it was a little bit
Dark Tidings.
it was a little bit crazy for sure. Like it was dead for almost a good part of the day trying to get it right, but it eventually kicked in, and they did a pretty good job again. Like TCO on top of stuff, trying to stay as current as possible. So we'll see. It's funny, like if people would just go by the guidelines that we set when you guys came in like to the tournament, like these things wouldn't happen. But we'll get there eventually.
Hmm.
Okay, there he is. He made it in the regular,
Ah,
so we can actually
nice.
hit watch instead of jumping into the game
Some
lobby.
some casual KFPL matches today.
Yeah, I just put it on the new. It doesn't like. Yeah, whatever. I've been fighting this war for 2 seasons now. It's whatever.
Oh yeah, I mean like
As long as we can get there. But Anxious Pirate did get the flip, so we are ready to go. Here we go, folks. New game, new time. Pochh up 1-0. Anxious Pirate's season is on the line. He is piloting Daphne, and he is up against X Peters, which is a very balanced deck. So we will see what happens here.
that tribute Sing Semper is
Degenerate, yes.
well, and it's pretty live in this deck because I mean as long as he has his Odoac or his Perfecto Ludo, like he's guaranteed to have the biggest creature. Because Daphne is scrawny. I mean, I guess it's got a Dendrix and a Lilithal, but they're not big enough to.
Hmm.
He's got nothing to go over the top. Like that's one thing I'm seeing when I look at X Peters is a one big creature, one big stinking narp could ruin your day because then you can't sink Semper.
Yeah, so Pochh is the master of wild wormholing into Chodas, by the way. We saw him end the game last game with that, and that is the second time that he's done that on stream.
Wrong 4-card start.
What lies beneath the jar Google? Nobody knows.
Um, what would it be?
Could be anything. Like honestly, like
It's Buzzle.
muzzle. That'd be horrible. What a
It's
trap!
just a
It's a
place to
trap.
put some trash.
It's a trap. Now we do see archives building, and there is the Desania like temptations.
Yeah, but for one card, that doesn't feel good.
No, it
I'm
doesn't.
just already seeing 4 important creatures versus one important creature, and again, like that Nosy and Daphne in the current meta, it gotta be tough.
Yeah, it's not the easiest, but we'll see what happens as we push forward. Both of these triads are pretty lights out. Like they got some good stuff. I think they tried to basically switch up the game a little bit and make it a little bit more favorable by changing their bans. But by changing their bans, they changed the whole structure of the format, right? So that's crazy. All right, so we see more and more value being
So
played.
that to me says he's already sitting on something like Sing Semper Tribute,
Something dangerous, right?
and he's waiting for some hammer. He's like, "Come on, make some money. I want to take it."
Well, that's part of the game plan with Daphne, though, too, is to just not make Amber initially and then kind of set itself up. But with the way this board is going wide, that might not be conducive to a winning strategy. He is putting value on protecting the gray, so he's going to attempt that Desania by going to 2 archived cards.
And there goes that gray. Well, at least I guess he doesn't have that degenerate city-state ancient power combo. Man, that can hurt so bad.
Yeah, definitely will take a hit once the new meta comes.
I don't know, that new Dark Tidings meta, like, doesn't necessarily make Amber.
No, it doesn't. It lacks it seems like it lacks creature control. It's kind of interesting. I haven't played enough to really make a good call on it, but it's like a lot of things have been like weird, like watching people play it.
It's a steal off the Can. Oh, Redder Golem for maximum penalty. EE to stop forging at all.
Interesting.
See, now this is what I'm saying. Like, if he can get this EE off the board.
Yeah, he has 3 of them himself. He can definitely chomp down on that.
Yeah, like he can get so much value out of EE.
If he has other discards in hand as well. Like, there is a little bit of a depth to it. It's not so easy as just playing EE.
All right, well, there goes his EE. I was going to say, it'd be pretty fly to steal his EE with Collar. And then,
double EE.
Yeah, and he has got discards to burn.
That's sweet. That's a big swing right there. I think 2 is the most you go, though. Like, do you really ever need 3? I don't know.
Gotta say, I'm not sure what the Dundrix play was about.
We can't all be savants like Dave and Z. Sorry. These guys talking. But I agree. There's definitely decks that are really good in Dark Tidings. The potential for them, but I haven't seen them yet.
I haven't even got to play a game yet. I did buy one of those 401 Gaming Canadian boxes to see if they get here before our US boxes.
I got the one coming from China. It's through customs already, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna win.
Yeah, that all seemed slightly weird to me for Anxious, like playing the Dendrix, because this other deck has a ton of C.
Mm-hmm.
But that hurts quite a lot over here. I mean, I guess the Redder Golem fires, which is a good tax, but still no Sync Semper.
Sync Semper is kind of like...
Sync Semper.
Well, yeah, but it's not as good right now because it's on ODAC.
Oh, here's a lateral shift.
You really want that ODAC.
What is in hand?
I wish they used to list it. Now we don't get that benefit.
The Desania.
Ooh. That couldn't have been the best card to get.
Yeah, not... Okay, well, you don't take the Tau because he has the Desania.
Right.
Like, that makes sense. But almost think about Titan Garden over Desania to protect my Garcia.
I mean, I guess the one plus is that Desania is now on his side of the board. It's not a card he has to worry about with the Exhumes either. So, like, he can kind of go in on his thing. But the problem with that is that if he kills it while he's in this, he can just Exhume it still anyway, right? So, I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, what's he's got Eddie left. Okay, he's got Eddie. He's got Tau, so he's got a couple of archiving cards. Mm-hmm. Oh, and if you look there, Anxiospirate did not forge his red key first, and his red Baron could not reap steel.
I'm not going to say I haven't practiced with him about that, and he always messes that up.
I mean, like, I've also played a lot of games with Anxious.
He did a second key and didn't do it.
He gets worked up. He's like, His name is very
Very good.
apt, right?
Yes, it is. And this is like one thing we've been working on is like just relax, have fun, play the game. But I think the Olivier game blew his brain. I think he's already like in a bad spot.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I feel like he has got control of this game right now.
Yeah, he should be able to take this game home. But like that Red Baron mistake could be huge. He did it twice because he just forged another key and like.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't even look. When I forge keys, I just click. Like, I don't
Yeah,
care.
TCO is not the same.
Red Baron is such a truly pointless card. I mean, except in this one situation where it could be meaningful, but all in all.
Yeah. I'm just in the habit of clicking the way I click, and it's always going to be blue, yellow, red, like until they give me to think about it. Harlan is having fun spinning his mother's wheel.
Why would he discard the sign? Oh, well, because he's already played his Exhume, but now that's cycled. I don't know. Actually, moving that Titan Guardian opened up a spot to protect the Eddy.
Yeah. They can move it off of that too now, like. But I don't know the value of that.
Okay, so not forging keys. Move the Titan
No, he's gonna
Guardian to
break
the
it.
other. Yep. Okay, that's pretty good play. Wards Eddy, kills Eddy, gets to ward Eddy. Wild Wormhole into the lateral ship on the flip. Gets to sink Semper and get the Amber. That's
big.
That was pretty big.
There's the code monkey. Monkey.
It's funny, actually. I thought Code Monkey actually had to archive them. Oh no, they just have share house. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was good. Well, one wild wormhole Chota is now squared away to one wild wormhole lateral shift.
Yeah, right. But he did get him off of check. I don't know how long he can maintain that. I mean, I think he just needs to keep pushing Amber and he wins, right? Like, back to logos. Interesting. Okay, I get it. That seems fair. Could be some good value in that. There's the Tao, like just building up. He could still put himself on check, so that's big. Oh no, don't attack with the Eddy.
He has to attack with the Eddy. It's enraged.
Yeah, I'm saying don't use the second. Okay, good. I was worried we were gonna see a. Nice. He's at 8. That's pretty good. I think he just has to maintain this. Always be checking mentality here, and this game's over. Daphne did her thing, and then we'll be moving.
Okay, so we know that the tribute is got to be in hand.
Yeah.
Or I mean, it's got to be available. And here it comes. But the Sink Semper's dead.
But yeah, that makes it a little bit.
Actually, we haven't seen either tribute.
One of them's was in the graveyard.
Was it?
Yeah, there was one in there. Oh no, wait, that's Axiom I saw.
Yeah. No,
that's Ludo. So he has both his tributes. Yeah, he has both his tributes.
Okay. The favor on the Jargoogle just for efficiency? Because does he know he only gets to play one of those cards?
I don't know. He's about to learn.
Yeah, it looks like there was maybe a... What else was under him? Nope, Pochh is quite wealthy right now.
Yeah.
About to forge at 11, though, so that's not very meaningful. I mean, like, there's definitely just a Logos play here where you fight with both of them to kill the Titan Guardian. Because the Exhume just died because Pochh had to shuffle. Okay, now you've got to purge your own cards.
Still in a pretty good spot. Ooh, color the puzzle. Interesting. Let's trim it down a little bit more.
Yeah, that's pretty good because he can kill it. I mean, like, yeah, take me off 12. Even if he has the Tribute Sync Semper, that doesn't get the job done.
Yeah, that's a pretty good job right there. The collar came down to the collar.
Yeah, the shift on the wild wormhole on the flip right away. Real good.
Who would have thought that's just value?
All right, so what does that leave us? That leaves us...
That leaves us a game number 3 for everything. That's what it leaves.
So, band was
it's going to
Q.
be it's Morales versus
okay, so
versus
Peters.
Versus Peters, yeah. So we are
okay
in this epic game of UAP violence.
Okay,
violence.
So Peters is a board deck. Morales is a 19C deck.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of big plays that can happen is Exhume Harlan Mindlock to take the EE to then go silly.
Yeah. Like could be fun.
Like I don't know if you guys saw that in practice or if they thought about that, but that could be a very significant shift because then all of a sudden Peters loses its own discards to purge and stuff.
Yep. I don't think Pirate expected this not to be banned, so I don't even know if how many reps he took with it, honestly. I know it was not on his expectations. He just assumed it would be banned. So, and I know he was heavy on the Who and the Daphne practice, but I'm not sure how much.
So the also things like the
game's up if you want to jump in the lobby.
No, sorry, for sure. I'm just looking at this matchup. Like the
I didn't check the dialogue.
The Obsidian Forge is quite possibly, if not EE feed, a discard because of Snacklifter.
Hey, we got there in one, so yay!
Yay! All right, Snacklifter makes that so you almost can't play your Obsidian Forge if you wanted to. If you want to let him Snacklift his Soul Fiddle, you go right ahead.
Yeah, right. I don't know. It's an interesting set of choices, right? Like the Obsidian Forge is dangerous to play. Like I don't know if you do with this Snacklifter looming. Like that.
I was playing Akari in the ABR matches the other day, and I was quite far ahead. And I played my Obsidian Forge because I thought I could close the game next turn. And then my opponent bursted out, remote accessed, used my Obsidian Forge to forge his key, and just shot ahead. And I ended up losing that game.
Yeah.
So, like, when they can use your Obsidian Forge, it's
bad because
it's trash. You can't play it.
Yeah. So we'll see what kind of decisions are made here, because this will definitely be an interesting game of who can use the other person's things better, right?
Yeah.
EA is looking to steal his disc. He's looking to steal his artifacts. Okay. We do have some board.
Morales actually has a lot of archiving.
Yes, and that Desania is dangerous.
Ooh, 2 Eddies really early.
Mm-hmm.
So that is actually very meaningful too, that both 3 Fates are down. I guess both standardized testings are very live, but
There's a good amount of like control though. He still has a gateway and stuff too. So
well, yeah, I'm just saying there's very few answers in Shadows outside of Life for a Life to deal with the Odoac.
yeah, that's true.
So like the Odoac can really hurt if you have a handful of Ronnies and then no way to deal with his creature.
Yeah, but he just put out his own Harbinger, so that's kind of weird.
Yep, that's another play that I just don't know about in this game. I guess he figures, like Morales is just clears board so hard anyways.
Fair.
Okay, so we're at first key, so now if Morales can't steal, that would be...
There's 5 cards in the.
He's going Dis. Purges and Eddie, that's really good.
Of the week, Tesmal.
Oh, looking for the Tesmal lock.
Well,
Not answering the key. So this is one of those things with these super steel heavy AOA decks. Like, he can get in this position where he has all of his steel in hand now, and because Pochh got to Forge, you just end up on really bad turns.
Yeah. One Tesmal would be pretty hard to lock a guy that had 5 cards in the archive as well. Especially if they're all dinos, because now he's going to go dino heavy and it's going to be dangerous. But I think he answers that with the unlocked gateway. Like I feel like he's waiting for a good time to unlock. But that looks like a 6 Emperor play right there. That's a burst.
That's got to not feel good.
Well, we'll see if the Ronnies answer. Then it feels better, right? I want to see like 1 or 2 Ronnies here. Sucker Punch on the Gallon.
Good job on Anxious remembering to play the Sucker Punch.
That's true. Life for a life. There's value. Like, that's good. That was about as good a turn as he could respond with, I think. It's still.
I don't know. Like I said, it's just leaving the Odoac. Losing your Odoac answers. Oh, the IG. I gotta say, this is not looking good for Morales right now. I mean, not feeling it, but what do I know?
We'll see what happens. There's the Ronnie on the Exhume. Nice. Unlock gateway.
He is now.
Now that is not good. Like now that.
Oh, the Obsidian Forge comes down.
Now that Odak is real. Standardized testing. I hope he has another one. Does he have 2 in this deck? Did he play both already? Okay, so he still has the standardized testing. Hopefully he's thinking about that ODAC, because that thing is still coming, and that's going to be dangerous. But there's 2 keys to 1. We got a, the game is somewhat close still, like, oh, there's a Desania. That's actually kind of good for Pirate. Ooh, Dust Imps. That's a catch-up tool. There's a Tentacus too. That's nice.
Oh, here comes the steal.
EA's gonna eat. How much is it going to eat? That's the question. Eating pretty good. Ooh, there's a window.
Enough to keep him off key. Okay, come on. I want to see this Exhume play I was talking about. Except you can't because there's been no Harlan. Oh yeah, Harlan's in the discard. Doesn't have it. Takes the Obsidian Forge. Very meaningful.
Not sure I put the Amber on the Dustin, so.
No, I mean, he's trying to bait him into getting that Amber.
Oh, there's a good play.
Okay. Didn't get to check, though. That hurts. Here's the Odoac. But we've seen Ronnie 1. We've seen Ronnie 2, but not Ronnie 3.
And that Nif is relevant at this point. It's kind of annoying.
Oh, mean. Kills the dust imp to put him over 7, then favors the guy to steal for 2 like that. That was brutal.
Favor of Rex is so good.
Yeah. Yeah. What's he got to answer this? He's got 1 Ronnie left, which takes him down to 7. Skeleton key. Yep. I think that is it. One of those things, getting your Archimedes down so you can actually get some recursion value out of Ronnie, and that didn't happen. Oh, Anxious doesn't like his last turn.
I don't think it probably cost him the game like he thinks, but maybe not. Unless he had like the Exhume Mind Lock and he didn't do it, that would be sad. Should have played Shadows. Rough one, but Pochh is going to move on, folks. That is what we are catching here, and what we have seen as it ends up being only 6. Wait, was it 4 and 2? Yeah, 6 people from last season that actually are going to make it to the top 16 now, and that's it, because the matches we have left are all people who were not in the top 16 last season. So, and those matches are still to come tomorrow. There's 2 of them, and then right after the last match, the Erie Daily match, we will do our weekly, which will be quick and easy, because we're just going to kind of lay out the top 16 and talk a little bit about what we've seen. But Pochh is a really good player, so nothing to be ashamed of here. Let's see if we can get the guys on a chat.
That was so you're saying that's like it's a 37% return rate. And in some ways, like there were, I mean, not to say anything bad about KFPL Season 1, but there were actually quite a few KFPL Season 1 players who were kind of on their way out for playing Keyforge seriously because of the way you qualified for that one, for a lot of the qualifiers, right? Like how I got in was just by being on a leaderboard.
Yeah.
I know there were several other people who got into the leaderboard. They played because they got their invite, but weren't really that invested.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, I mean, I'm a big fan of the Season 2 where everybody who's playing is invested. Like, they're here. They want to be here.
It's only going to get a little bit crazier. So let's go ahead and get this call up. I'm going to start it. They both said that they would come on, so let's get them in here. Z, sorry, we're ringing you. But there's Pochh, there's Pirate, there's Sheep. We got the
hello.
So good games, guys. Those are pretty crazy. Olivia on the high roll first game, hard to beat. And then, Daphne did her thing. Pirate, like, walk us through what's going on with your line there. You said at the end that you made a misplay. What was the misplay?
Yeah. So I realized I actually could have gotten to check in logos, meaning he'd force him to do the Saurian's turn early because I knew he had the Saurian's cards, but I didn't. I don't know what was going through my mind, but I decided to go Shadows, and I actually would have had, because I had both Ronnies in hand, and I could have gotten him off 10 Amber, regardless, if I had kept Shadows the next turn. And it was really poor. I was a bit frustrated too. I felt like that last game. I feel like Peters drew its lines really nicely. Like the things just came out at the right times when they needed to. A bit frustrated, and I'm very annoyed at that first game because I definitely has it over Olivier if it doesn't have the eye roll.
Yeah. It happens. Like we're working on this whole have fun with the game thing and move forward with the thing, right? Happy for your teammate Pochh. Pochh, congratulations. Like, tell us a little bit of what you thought about the games.
I think the matchups were pretty interesting. Neither of us had the same bans as the first time we fought in Group H. The first time around we banned Morales for me and Olivier for Pirate.
Yeah, I don't think the bans are obvious.
Yeah, well, I mean, so why did you change to who? What was your thought process on that?
I changed to Who because I thought I wanted to give Peters a better matchup just in case he loses.
That's fair. I think Who is pretty dangerous. Like it's one of the more dangerous decks that have a lower SAS. Like it's already got an 88, and you see 4 routine jobs, but I like the tempo that Who brings to the table, and I thought it would be a pretty big headache for you to play. So I thought that was wise of you to make that play. So why did you change bans, Pirate?
Because from testing, if Olivier didn't get the high roll, then definitely because of all the taxing and then stealing with EEs like just towards the end, it's just too much for Olivier to come back from. Because yes, Olivier will be like a key ahead, but definitely almost every game in testing definitely just was the superior deck.
Yeah, interesting. So Sheep, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm surprised testing went that well with Daphne. I mean, you do have the taxing, but like that ability, that 23 Amber, like I don't.
Well, that was the highest roll almost the highest roll it could possibly have had. Like, I don't think you could have asked for better draws than that.
Yeah, that was my second wild wormhole into Chota in KFPL streams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we've learned here is that Pochh has this weird relationship with Olivier to where he's gonna get his Chota when he needs to get his Chota. Like whether he plays no matter what house he plays, Chota's just gonna run out and run through. So yeah, and Pochh didn't get to use his battle fleets at all. So that was kind of not like. There's some sequences where I think Pochh could have actually got off a little bit faster, but it was definitely like pretty well lined up, I think.
When I look at a deck like Olivier, unless I've got 3 scaling Amber control cards, I just go, nope, there's too much high roll chance there. Next.
The other thing I guess I could say, Sheep, was that Daphne is essentially an auto lose to his other deck.
Yes.
And so I was much rather take the chance or a decent chance of winning over literally none. Because the last time I won, I only won because the game went to time, and I stealth moded at the end to make it he can't play any actions. And so, definitely can't beat the other deck on any normal circumstance unless it has like some sort of super high roll that I've never seen.
Yeah.
So, okay, our other question is, where was your red key?
Yeah.
Listen, okay, it didn't matter anyway because he had Odoac the entire time. That it was out, and then when it wasn't out, I didn't need the key anyway. Like there was no point that I needed to forge that red key. So yes, I should have forged it, but I didn't.
It sounds like you're defending it just to defend it. You could have just said, "Yeah, I missed it." That's the right way to say it. Just be like, "Yeah, I missed it."
I did mess up
twice because you had 2 chances.
I actually messed up twice in the game against Olivier. I put the Titan Librarian in the wrong spot because I forgot I was wanting to kill one of the cards. Honestly, if that Untamed turn hadn't come, I was set up for a really decent next few turns. Then I had to play really suboptimally just to get rid of that Untamed board. It was rough.
That's fair. But anyhows, either way, we are advancing a player from the UAP, so that was the only win-win, I guess, of this situation. Is like no matter what, we're going to get a third body into the top 16, which makes me happy. Anxious, you had a great season. I'm sure you'll be back. And Pochh, you're moving on, buddy, and congratulations on securing a spot in Season 3 as well. We do have 2 more games coming up tomorrow, so make sure you guys tune in for those. They're going to be wonderful ones with Calum versus Menthol and Erie Daily versus
Echo Ito?
Echo Ito, yeah. Good. I'm glad you remembered because I was trying to buy time to look it up. But yeah, and then right after that,
that's when our next SAS player gets to move on.
You hope.
So we can have at least 3 of us.
You hope.
Oh, actually, sorry. One of the reasons that I didn't also why that was a misplay the end was I knew he had Favor of Rex left, and that putting myself at check was going to give him the stealing back, and I forgot about it as I was making my play, and that was just bad.
Yeah, Favor of Rex is a pretty good card. So yeah, I get where you're going with that piece.
So I should have played Logos, but oh well, that happens.
You're
You don't
all
even
right.
learn from them.
Yeah, Favor of Earth was a secret weapon against Morales. Well,
Yeah.
not so
But that's the
secret.
thing. I knew it was coming, and I even played, and I still played into it because I was just not thinking.
So
Should have taken my time. Oh well, it happens.
Yeah, those were all very the tempo in all those games. Like the rate of play was very high.
Oh yeah, we both played pretty fast. We played a
Yeah,
lot.
except for that,
there's nothing
except
wrong.
that one game with Daphne and Xavier.
Oh, that game was so boring. Yes.
Anyhow, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna call it a stream. Got things I gotta get done.
Yep, fair.
I got nothing else. We do, like I said, have the Menthol versus Callum game first thing tomorrow, and then at 1 o'clock Eastern we have Echo Ito versus Erie Daily. Those will be streamed in various locations, so make sure you're paying attention to the Discord channel. Congratulations, Pochh, for moving on. Sheep, anything you want to plug from Archon's Corner? Yeah,
Say you can come play with myself and Anxious over on most of the Archon's Corner events. So if you want to kick our asses in a non-KFPL way, we'll be there.
The sealed event is my favorite. Like I come to those; those are fun. Lots of good time, good people. Yeah, and you get to listen to people wanting to beat up on X-Ray for no reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's like the hobby of the Archon's Corner. Is like, we're gonna beat X-Ray. But that said, we will catch you guys on the flip side, and week 2 of playoffs, the top 16 are on the way. Is your bracket busted yet? Mine looks pretty bad now. So, but we'll see what happens. I still have Rodion. He's a guy I picked to win it all, so we'll see. But
if you guys learned anything, everybody should be picking me.
Oh, Sheep is all in on himself. But we still want to see the GOAT versus Sheep matchup, so that's a big one for us. But with all that said, this is Jupiter from the KFPL, and Z actually did pick Sheep to go very far. So Sheep, just know that Z had your back this time. I think he had guilt from last time.
Now I'm cursed. Thanks for that.
So Z's cursing you. But anyway, so like I said, just keep playing Keyforge. You new players, it's nice to see you guys out there and about. So make sure that if you have any questions, you reach out to people, because the community is great for teaching people how to play and giving you time to learn the game. So with all that said, keep forging, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Sounds good.
Killing machine.
Lying